before Biden passed the right-wing plan to deny asylum seekers the ability to seek asylum in the United States without having to request asylum in the nations they came in before, they were not considered illegal. But now that they can't, without requesting asylum in other nations, asylum seekers cannot come to the United States, and this has created more illegal immigrants. What Biden is doing, denying asylum seekers hope, doesn't solve any problems. It just makes things worse. And how does denying asylum seekers help uh, bring down illegal immigration from other people? It doesn't. It doesn't solve anything. It, again, just makes things worse, and it punishes asylum seekers who are not illegal immigrants according to international law, which states that nations have to help asylum seekers.
Facing intensifying pressure over the migrant influx at the U.S. southern border. This morning, President Biden is preparing to announce sweeping changes. NBC News has learned the executive action would allow the president to temporarily shut down the border to asylum seekers if illegal crossings reach 2,500 a day. According
Wow, only 2,500 a day? That's a tiny, 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 tiny amount of people coming in the United States. 2,500 when there are like over 400 million Americans living in the United States.
to three people familiar with the discussions.
It is definitely a step in the right direction, one of a number of steps that are necessary for us to be able to secure our border.
But some Republicans say it's too little, too late.
He created a crisis at the border intentionally.
Right now, Homeland Security officials say there are more than 4,000.
The only crisis on the border, it's not people wanting to come into the United States, it's the treatment of these people that is forcing them into camps and stuff where a lot of these people either die from sickness or they're assaulted by other people, or you have kids being pretty much sold off to randos, and the United States cannot find these people.
Encounters at the border each day, suggesting a shutdown could go into effect immediately. The border would reopen if daily encounters dropped below 1,500. This migrant just crossed near San Diego and says the new restrictions would be tough. Coming on the heels of a historic presidential election in Mexico, and just as the campaign here in the U.S. heats up, the move is a reversal from President Biden's stance in January. Even though Mr. Trump urged
It's also a big reversal on Biden's stance that asylum seekers should be protected. Nowadays, he hates asylum seekers because he wants to placate the right-wing party of the United States, the group of people that hates immigrants even more than Biden does.
congressional Republicans to kill a bipartisan border funding bill earlier this year. The former president has a 30-point edge with registered voters on the question of who would handle immigration and border security better. Immigrant advocates say the changes will cause chaos.
It is a betrayal of what we were told in a campaign 4 years ago. We were told that President Biden would be restoring humanity at our border. But what we are seeing is that history is repeating itself.
Yeah, Biden does nothing. Biden's stance on immigration is just like any staunch right-winger, prevent any asylum seeker or anybody coming through the southern border from coming in, and as well as preventing any brown people from coming in through the northern border, since Biden has made an agreement with Trudeau to prevent people from coming through the northern border. But, if it's white people, Biden has no issue with, white immigrants coming to the United States. He had no issue with Ukrainians entering the U.S.
In 2018, the Trump administration tried to enact similar border restrictions, but the courts struck them down. We expect more legal challenges now. The executive action will also...
Yeah, and the same border policies that Biden is advocating for against asylum seekers are the same policies that he was against when Trump was in office. When Stephen Miller proposed uh, asylum seekers being required to request asylum in nations that they traveled through, uh, Biden was against that and said it was inhumane. Now he is for it.
have some humanitarian exceptions, including for children or